Hey everybody, Lewis here, Rshackbbq and other things. So today we are going to do part 2 of our ribs on 3 different types of cookers. Part 1 was on the Lone Star offset, and I'll have a link up there, over there, down in the description to it. So if you want to watch that one, it's there. I know it's a little long, but there was a lot to cover on that. This one, we're going to talk about pellet grills. Specifically, this one right here is a Rec Teq, but when you get to it, they're all basically the same. It's pellets, it's a controller that has a motor and a fan, and you have your cook chamber. That's all really a pellet grill is. It's powered by electricity to run the fan, to run the motor, to run the computer, and you know, that's the only real difference. You are using wood pellets, but they are manufactured pellets. They're not like a piece of wood. So, you know, they have to go through a some kind of mulching process and drying process to make them work. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this plugged in, and then we'll talk about the controller. So, get my power right here. Let's get it plugged in. Okay, so this is a Rec Teq RT 700. That is the model number of this style of cooker. Pretty much the same thing on all of them. You've got your power switch. I'm going to turn it on. Okay, and you have your temperature setting. This one you got a couple of probes which are down here. You have your actual, what it is inside the smoke chamber, and then you have your set dial. Some of them have a a toggle up and down switch, things like that. So in this one today we are going to run this at 255, like that. And the most important thing you can do with any pellet grill is, right now I have the lid closed. You're going for this first initial startup, have that lid open. What you got to do is you got to let this come up to its initial ignition. You'll hear the ignition of the pellets, and then it'll start to get hot, and the smoke will die down as it burns that first batch of pellets. So that's what you want to do. You want to let it sit here and warm up until that first cycle through. Now, as you can see here on this one, we've got our grates, and below it I have some drip pans sitting on what's called the grease tray. The grease tray runs all the way down and pours out the grease in this little bucket over here. Some of them have different designs where the grease flows in here to the front or the back. On these ones, this is very much like a lot of the grills out there. It flows it out. Underneath that, you have a heat deflector above the pot. So what we're going to do is we're just going to let this warm up for a few minutes, and then we'll get our pellets in. Here we're starting to see smoke come in, so there's pellets being dumped in that fire pot, and it's heating those up. Now for this cook, just like we did on the offset, I used cherry wood. We're going to use cherry pellets on it. Now, my opinion, all of them, the brands are all the same. It doesn't really matter. The main thing that you want to look for, ones like these here, say premium 100% pure hardwood pellets. That's what you want. Hardwood pure, 100%. So, as you can see, it's coming up. Didn't take it very long to get that there. We'll let it come up. It's going to have all this smoke, and then it'll just kind of, like, it almost all goes away. And that's when the ignition happens. And that's when you go ahead and close up your lid. There you can see the smoke has gone away, so it has ignited those pellets. So we're going to go ahead and close the lid. Now this is what the pellets look like that go in it. It almost looks like rabbit food. So on this particular model, the pellet hopper is in the back here, and this is a 40-pound hopper. So you can put 40 pounds worth of pellets in here. Some have like a 20 pound, some have a 10 pound, some have a 60 pound. Let's get some of these dumped down in here. Now I'm not going to fill this all the way up. Just a little bit over half. We probably won't even use them. On average, at 250, most pellet grills will use about a pound to a pound and a half every hour. So right now, it says our grill is now at 131, 136 internal, so it's coming up. So a lot of these modern pellet smokers and other grills have a app that you can download. In this case, here is my Rec Teq. You can see right now it's up to 189. The controller says 193, 193. It's set at 255. In here, I can go in and I can set the temperatures. If I was going to use the probes, I can set those so it knows where I want those, and you can set it when to alarm at you. You got to go into settings. Nope. Let's see. Oh, they changed their app. You can just take your finger and move it to where you want it. In this case, we're just going to say 184. It's usually where I like to run my ribs to, but we're not using probes. I don't usually use probes on ribs. I usually just use the tenderness. We'll get into that once the kick gets going. So the main thing on this, it'll also graph, tell you what the temperature is, where it's running, where your probes are at. But in this, the main thing right now is that I can control it right here. I can change the temperature and everything. It goes up to 500 degrees on here, and I can even turn it off. This is Wi-Fi based, so I can do this from just about anywhere. I could be at work, and if I have a long cook, I can have this set and monitoring it. So right now, this is how quick this grill gets up to temp. We're at 252. You know, like I said, we're going to 255. So one thing about a pellet grill, especially a good pellet grill like this, it'll climb your temp real quick for you. So, you know, from the time that I turned it on till now, what are we talking? Maybe 5 minutes? I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't think we've even been 5 minutes. So, this grill will normally run from your set point within 2 degrees either way. And right now, it's sitting at 253. We're just going to let it go for about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to come out and put the ribs on. So like I said, this is now at 254, so we're almost up to temp where I want it to be at. The ribs, doing the exact same seasonings that I did on the Lone Star, exact same process, St. Louis ribs. You know, if you want to see how to do those, I have other videos you can go back and watch. But we're not here to show you how to prepare ribs. We're here to show you the difference between the cookers. So right now, this is up to temp. We want to get our ribs on here in a couple more minutes, and then we're going to let them go for an hour. We're going to probably come out in half hour, 40 minutes and spritz them, and then we're going to let them go an hour and we'll check them. Then we're going to let them probably go 2 hours just right here in the smoke, and then after that we're going to, you know, do our brown sugar and apple cider vinegar, a little more rub, process, wrap them up in foil, get them back on here for an hour, hour and a half, somewhere in between an hour and a half and 2 hours. We're going to start checking with a toothpick for tenderness after that point. And once they get to where the tenderness like I like, we're going to take them off. We're going to let them sit for about 15-20 minutes and cut in and see what we got. So at this point, we need to get our ribs on here. Open that up. Here's our rack of ribs. Just lay them right here in the middle. Something like that. So now we're just going to let them go. be back out in about 40 minutes, and we'll give them a quick spritz. But that's all there is to it with the pellet grill. Just need to make sure you got enough pellets in there, get it up to temp where you want it, and it is. It is a set it and forget it. Kind of monitor it with your, with the app, so you can control the temps and kind of watch what's going on. But generally, you don't have to worry about it at all. You just let it run. So, all right, we'll be back out in about 40 minutes. Our ribs have been on here for about 45 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. Yeah, they're coming along nicely. Starting to get some setting of the rub. What I have here, I just got this in the mail today from Amazon. It's an electric or battery operated spritzer. Small little bottle, which is perfect. So let's just see how it does. You can control how much. That's cool. Look at there. Very nice. I like that. No more pumping. And then it's got a lock, so it locks the trigger, so it stops the leaking. Very nice. Found this on Amazon. So we just spritzed them. We'll come out in about a half hour, see how we're doing. Everything's running right on course. Losing a lot of heat right now, so I want to get that closed up. So yeah, so now we'll just let it go for another half hour. We'll come out in a half hour, probably spritz them again, and start looking at the bone pullback, see where we're at, and get ready to start wrapping. Okay, so our ribs have been on here for 2.5 hours. Let's have a quick look at them. Starting to get the bone pulled back along here, which we like. Rub is definitely set on it. Let's go ahead and give it a quick spritz while we get our wrap ready. I think I'm ready to wrap. Let's just check this real quick. Nice little bend. Still a little stiff there, but it does bend. It's right where I want it. So I'll get it nice and wet. Close this up and let's get our wrap ready. See, I flipped it back over, the seam is down, and it's well sealed, so the juices will stay in it. At this point, we're probably going to let them go another hour. We'll start probing to see how tender they are. Could be a couple hours till it reaches the point of being done, but there we are. Let's let them go for a while. So these have been on the old Rec Teq pellet grill for, let's see, 5 hours. Yeah, that's what it's been on. So what we're going to do is we're going to just probe them here and see what we got going on. Yeah. Try not to hit a bone. Oh, look at that. That just goes right through it. So these are done. We're going to take them off. We're going to just let them rest for about 15-20 minutes. Then we'll cut into them. Who knows it long? Alright, so at this point what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the Rec Teq, close the lid, and let it just come down in temp. So, like I said, these have been on for 5 hours, and it's time we're just going to take them in the house and let them rest. Alright, here's our finished ribs. Let's get them unwrapped here. See what we got happening. So like you saw, these were done on the Rec Teq. Flip this one over. Ooh, still very warm. At least the foil is. I got some pretty good bone pull back through here. Alright. Got me a pair of gloves here, just to help kind of protect my hands. Ooh, look at those. Slide these over this way, nice and moist. So I got my new knife here. See what we can do. Cut real nice. Now once again, I did not sauce these, so they're just all meat and all rub. Look at those. So juicy. Perfection almost. Got a little bit of a smoke ring on them. Nice, nice. Well, they did not come out as dark as like on the Lone Star on the offset, and that's pretty normal. But they definitely cut nice. This knife is awesome. Get these all cut up here. Now, as you saw, what I did is I let them smoke for 2 hours. Then I wrapped them and I let them go for 2.5 hours wrapped. And this is what we got. Look at our rib. Let's give it a try. Sometimes this thing just zooms in farther than I think it would, but nice bite. Real good flavor. You really pick up on those rubs. A little salty. Well, I pick up on the salt on it pretty good. Let's try another bite. Oh yeah. Very good flavor. Not much of a smoke flavor on them. So you really taste the pork and you really taste the rub that you put on it. That is why I didn't put any sauce on it. You can put sauce on them, but I really wanted to taste what the pork tastes like. And there's not very much of a smoke flavor to them at all. But you do get that rub and you do definitely taste pork. So there you have it. On a pellet grill, you have the convenience of just setting it and forgetting it. Still doing that same basic process of letting them go in the smoke for 2 hours. You probably could go anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on what you like. Then, you know, what I did is I wrapped them, put that brown sugar, put the spray butter on them, and the apple cider vinegar in there to kind of steam them in the aluminum foil. I let them go for 2 hours. Then I started probing for tenderness with my Insta-Read, and it went right through them. The temperature, I think it read that it was like 204 when I checked the temperature on them. You know, anywhere from 190 to 210 is ideal for ribs. In this case, I like to actually run them on the lower end because I like a nice bite. I don't want them just to fall off the bone. And as you can see, these don't just fall off the bone. So I got them right where I want them. They still come off the bone real easy. They just don't fall off. The difference on this than the offset, like I said, not much of a smoke flavor to them. If you like that heavier smoke flavor, then I say go with an offset rather than a pellet grill. You can get a smoke tube, put pellets in there, and put it inside your smoke chamber of your pellet grill, and it's going to add more smoke. And you know, it'll penetrate the meat. As they say, if you put it in there and run them, you know, up to where they're internal around 140, after 140 they stop absorbing smoke. That's what the experts say. I don't know. Anyhow, The big difference between these is you don't get that heavy smoke flavor that you would get from burning with wood. You get a nice, easy, well-flavored rib, just like you do on the offset. You just don't get that smoke flavor. And that's probably the biggest difference. Convenience has to go with the pellet grill, because you just set it and you walk away and the thing just sits there and cooks at that steady temperature the whole way. Well, that's kind of the difference between a pellet grill and an offset smoker when it comes to ribs. Next, I'll be doing a rack of ribs up on my Weber Smokey Mountain, which is a charcoal. We'll see where that falls when it comes to flavor that you get generated from them. Same process, I'm doing the same rubs, everything like that. We'll just see what the difference is. Anyhow, thank you for watching. You can do this too. It's not that hard. Until next time, my friends, grill on.